All right, today we're going to tackle one of tech's most powerful and maybe one of its most confusingly named concepts, serverless architecture. We're going to go way beyond the buzzword and actually show you how it works, and more importantly, how you can use it to build some incredibly efficient apps. But first, let me just throw this question out there. What if you could build and launch a full-blown application with a backend and everything that costs you exactly $0 when nobody's using it? I mean, not a single penny. That's not a trick question. That's the core promise of serverless, and believe me, it is a total game changer.
So, here's our game plan for the next few minutes. First, we're going to figure out what serverless even means. Then we'll see how it all works under the hood. After that, we're going to build one super fast. Then we'll ask, is it the right tool for your job? And finally, we'll put it head-to-head with a traditional server. Let's do it.
Okay, let's dive right in. Section 1, what in the world is serverless? And yeah, we're going to bust that biggest myth right out of the gate.
So here's the big secret. Serverless doesn't actually mean there are no servers. I know, right? Of course there are servers. There are always servers somewhere. The whole point, the crucial difference, is that you don't have to manage them. A cloud provider, think Amazon, Google, Vercel, they handle all the messy stuff, all the provisioning, the scaling, the updates. You just get to focus on one thing, writing your code. And look, this isn't some quirky niche technology. We're talking about the heavy hitters here. You've got giants like AWS with Lambda, which kind of started it all. You've got Google and Microsoft with their own powerful functions. And then you have platforms like Vercel and Netlify that make it just unbelievably easy for web developers to get started. This is a major production-ready way to build apps.
Okay, so if we're not managing the servers, what is actually going on when a user, clicks a button in your app? Let's move on and take a quick peek under the hood.
It's actually a pretty simple and elegant flow. It all starts with the user sending a request. That request hits something called an API gateway. You can think of it like a digital receptionist. Its job is to figure out what to do with the request. It then triggers your specific serverless function, which is basically just a piece of code that was sitting there, waiting to be called. That function wakes up, runs your code, does its job, and sends a response right back to the user. Clean, efficient, and only runs when it's needed.
And this right here is where the real magic is. It's not just about what you do, it's about all the stuff you suddenly don't have to do anymore. Forget about creating servers. Forget about installing Node.js or any other runtime. Forget about configuring a web server like Nginx. And this is the big one, you can stop worrying about scaling. If 10 people use your app, it works. If 10 million people use your app, it just works. The platform handles it all automatically.
All right, enough theory. I think the best way to really get this is to see just how ridiculously fast it is to go from zero to a live public API that anyone in the world can access. So yeah, let's build one.
If you use a platform like Vercel with a framework like Next.js, this whole process is almost laughably simple. Step 1, you start a new project. Step 2, you create a single file inside a special folder called API. Step 3, you test it on your own computer. And step 4, you tape one command into your terminal and hit enter. That's it. You're live. It's just that fast. And just look at this code. Seriously, where's all the server setup? The boilerplate? It's gone. All you have is a single function. It takes a request. It sends a response. You're only writing the code that actually matters, your business logic. The platform literally handles everything else. Okay, so we've established it's fast, it's powerful. But that doesn't mean you should use it for absolutely everything. Like any tool in your toolbox, it's perfect for some jobs and not so great for others. So let's build out a little playbook for you. So let's talk about the sweet spots. Where does serverless just knock it out of the park? Well, anytime you need to move fast. For apps where traffic is going to be all over the place, spiky or unpredictable, it's fantastic for building APIs, powering chat features, handling user signups, processing file uploads, and even running a lot of AI apps and simple form submissions. These are all perfect use cases. But, and this is important, it's not a magic bullet for every problem. Most serverless platforms have a time limit, usually around 15 minutes, so any super long-running process is out. And things that need a constant always-on connection, like real-time video streaming or heavy-duty background processing, those are usually better suited for a traditional server, where you have that dedicated, persistent environment.
All right, this brings us to the final showdown. Let's put them side by side, serverless versus the good old traditional server. This should really make the differences crystal clear.
But before we hit that final comparison chart, I just want you to look at this number, 0. Think about it. With a traditional server, you're paying, say, $50 a month from day one, whether anyone visits your site or not. With serverless, if no one calls your function, you pay nothing. Your bill might literally be cents for the first few months. For a startup, for a side project, that can be the difference between launching and never even trying. Okay, so here it is, the head-to-head. Setup? Serverless is way, way easier. Scaling? It's automatic versus a very manual process. Cost? That's the huge one. Pay only for what you use versus a fixed monthly bill. Now here's the key trade-off. Control. With a traditional server, you control everything. With serverless, you give up some of that fine-grained control for all this convenience. And finally, speed to get your idea out there. Serverless wins, hands down. So, what does all this mean for you? It means the next time you're about to start a new project, build a new feature, or launch an API, you've got this incredibly powerful, cost-effective, and fast option in your toolbox. So the only real question left is your next backend gonna be serverless? Thanks for tuning in.